political commentator Judita De Silva.
You ever sparred with each other before?
We have. We just said once before. We
sparred over Netanyahu. What joy!
We also sparred over immigration, and there was a couple of words I was just saying in the room. There was a sentence that you uttered which has stayed in my head.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, tell us.
That
will open up a whole Pandora's box.
Something at least
We've got to talk
controversial.
let's talk Angela Rayner.
Yes, Angela Rayner. I cannot believe she hasn't resigned yet. I really can't believe it. You know, she was yesterday watching her turning on the tears, you know, bringing in her disabled child, using that as an excuse for what she's done. This is a cowardly act of a cheat who has been found out. You know, I think,
say what you mean, Malone.
Well, you know, all this crying and saying she's sorry. Yes, she's sorry she was found out. You know, ignorance is no defence, as we all know. And even unfortunate circumstances are no defence with HMRC, as many people have found out to their cost. So to invoke her child is pretty bad. You know, and what is even more, I mean, she should have the moral fortitude to just say, I have to go, but we all know she hasn't. And if she hasn't got that, Starmer should have the guts to sack her. And of course he hasn't, he's spineless. And I think it's because if he sacks her, the hard left are going to go for him. And they're going to try and get him out. So there will be lots of pressure. Because
you think she's very popular on the left?
She's very popular on the hard left, yeah. And even until Tuesday, the government was saying she hadn't done anything wrong, insisting this was all lies and it was a smear campaign and that people were out to get her. The bottom line is, you know, if it is a smear campaign, and I believe people are leaking details about it, I think that's a fact. If they're true,
how's it a smear?
It should be in the public domain.
But Judita, people have asked her to make a full explanation. She's done that. Part of the explanation is the privacy around her family. That's not an excuse, is it? It's just an explanation.
OK, so first of all, I'll come at it very objectively because there's an emotional response I have to the whole thing. First of all, you're about to, when looking at the actual property itself, I would ask people who are wondering about what's this trust thing, think similar to what happened with Britney Spears and the conservatorship. You have a situation, and we all have to be very careful when it comes to a disabled child. They are not part of the conversation, keep them out of it. But from the information she's given us, you have a situation where the matrimonial home is effectively owned by a trust, mum and dad. When you've now sold your stake to the trust, the home is now owned by dad and the trust, because what you have is a disabled child with long-term, lifelong needs. And because I believe from what she said, an amount of money has been provided, has been bestowed on him, that it is going to be governed by the trust. So it never...
Who bought her out?
Now, let Judith finish. It's part of the story.
This is what's going to be governed by the child, and to protect the child, the trust will handle that. So now you've given your stake, and think of anyone who's been through a divorce, a child of divorce, or knows about divorce from friends. The most contested item is the matrimonial home and the dissolution of a marriage. Once it is no longer yours and it's awarded to one party, you're out of it. You could have children who are 2 years old, 3 years old. Forget about this under 18 law. Once it is no longer yours, it's no longer yours. It belongs to the other spouse. Okay. So for her to then say that I do not have a property, that's the truth. By any understanding, by any margin, it is the truth.
How has she not said someone must have bought her out in that trust for her to not own it?
Well, the trust bought her out. So now the trust owns 75%.
Where's the money?
With the trust money. But the trust is an equity release, which is what normal people do.
It's an equity release from her disabled sons.
Yeah, but the trust has lost any money.
At the point the trust came into the dynamic of the family, they took part ownership of the home where the disabled child lives.
Hang on, just to cut through all the detail, isn't the real point here, the Secretary of State for Housing has not paid the right amount of tax on a home that she's bought 260 miles from her constituency. That, at the end of the day, is it.
But the question is...
I know, isn't that for the public?
Yeah.
She's not paid 40,000... It looks like she's dodged tax, and she is the biggest enemy of tax dodging.
I completely disagree. The fact of the matter is, she made a purchase, took advice from an expert and followed it. Now, once there was a furore around it, she said, oh, maybe I should look into it deeper, and got more advice where this obscure technicality means I need to pay more, and she will.
Her tax